our continuous authorization and monitoring, or CAM application, which will allow customers like yourself to be able to walk through the entire RMF workflow from beginning to end and encompassing all 47 of the tasks that 837 stipulates have to be done as part of the 7 steps, if you include prepare, through when you create an authorization pack. The reason why we decided to build an RMF application in ServiceNow, and and the opportunity that we saw is that we have all of these great products and other applications that ServiceNow offers in their portfolio. So what I'll walk you through is how all of those things tie together and what we've done in order to ensure that as you walk and a package through its life cycle, that we can leverage as much automation as part of the application as possible, but also leverage data points and work that has already been done outside of the risk management function as possible, right? So that said, let's start with kind of some of the main activities that have to be done, right? So the first thing in the prepare step is you have to define your system or authorization boundary, right? And that includes being able to scope out how data flows, how things are connected to each other, which ports are open. And for that, we have this products in ServiceNow, right? So the first one starts with IT operations management, where that provides you visibility, discovery, service mapping, and essentially becomes your CMDB of all of the different configuration items. These are laptops, servers, computers, anything that is able to be discoverable. But on top of that, we allow capabilities to ensure that you can tie those to business processes, locations, facilities. So it's not just a CMDB dealing with configuration items and a true configuration management database, but rather your database of everything, right? So your IT infrastructure and your business infrastructure, and start drawing relationships between the two to understand business context. Now, as your CMDB starts coming, up, what we are doing on top of that is that we have other applications in ServiceNow that allow you to manage that software, manage that hardware, and again, start drawing those relationships to the business. Very quickly, just because I do want to get to the demo, we also have capabilities in DevOps so that you can start RMF as early in the process as possible, right? And so if you read 837, they actually map all of the different tasks that are part of 837 to specific stages of the software development lifecycle, right? And the idea is that the earlier you can get started with RMF, in the particular development of an application, then the cheaper and the easier it's going to be to manage it and ensure that you're following that regulation. So all of these capabilities allow us to build an authorization boundary, tying ourselves to the CMDB, being able to consume that business context, those interrelationships and connections between those things. So as I flip into the demo, and I said I was going to flip back between product and slides a little bit. What I want to show you is I have here a demo record. I have an authorization package. I'm logged in as a system admin just because I want to be able to show you multiple things at once. But we do have all of the roles associated for the roles and responsibilities and all the stakeholders that 837 stipulates, the main ones at least. And so in this case, if I was to impersonate or log in as Susan Orwell, then I would be the system owner of this package, right? But again, just because I want to flip back and forth and show you a few things, I'm here logging in as a system admin. So first thing I'll do is I will go into the authorization boundary, and we'll see how all of these things tie together at the end, right? And I have the ability to create filters that are tied to either CIs that are specific to a CMDB or anything else within the ServiceNow table, right? So again, it can be a facility, it can be a location, it can be a business process. And by creating one or more of these filters, we can start generating our boundary in which we can also start tailoring, right? So if I had a server here that was not applicable, I would be able to delete it. Or if I had additional system elements that needed to be part of this boundary, I can also add them. So this is all data that is already part of your CMDB. So if I was to click on it, I would actually get a lot of the IT context behind this particular server. And I will show you that at the end, how we bring in all of those elements that you'll see throughout the demo today. I have capabilities to add diagrams, but really the bulk of the work is going to be driven through the authorization package, right? But again, the idea is that if we can leverage that existing data about what a boundary is, which elements belong to it, which servers, which firewalls, which ports, all of that information becomes crucial as I walk this package from beginning to end. So as I go back to the slides, as I move ahead, right, as part of the assessment process, I need to start generating poems or issues or findings, whatever you may want to call them, right? And we use those internal audit or audit capabilities for the assessor to go out, assess the control. If it's a manual test, we have capabilities to create automated indicators that go out and test that control automatically and give you that either compliant, non-compliant, or pass-fail result. And then the way that we do things as well is that for the poems, we tie to our security operations applications. So any security incidents that have been open and have an impact on our authorization package, and this ties back to that early phase, right? Because we have all of that CMDB data, and a security incident impacts one or several CIs, we have all of that context available to us. We may have vulnerabilities that are present on any of those system elements, or we can actually check in an automated fashion whether certain configurations have been turned on, as well as any other threat intel, right? So all of this information allows us to create the poems, enrich the poems, and actually start creating milestones in those applications to start solving them, right? So if I have a vulnerability, the poem will actually direct you to either patch the system or find some sort of other way to mitigate that vulnerability. And finally, we also show you things around IT service management. Then we can provide all of that capability and all of that visibility into the final kind of risk summary that allows the organization not just to generate the poems, but gives context outside of just the risk function to make that decision, final decision to authorize things and monitor things. ServiceNow continues to increase its portfolio and its offerings. And so there's a lot of insight and just context that we can gain as we walk through the RMF process, as we look to automate things, as we look to make risk-based decisions based on things that are actually happening, right? So, and because all of that work is being done in one platform and one system, we're able to better visualize that and tie those things together.